Dinosaur Cove. Dinosaur Coves. Cove. Attack of the Lizard King. Dinosaur Grove. Fact file. Jamie, I've just moved from the city to live in the lighthouse. Dinosaur Cove. Jamie's dad is opening a dinosaur museum on the bottom floor of the lighthouse. When Jamie goes hunting for fossils in the crumbling cliffs on the beach, he meets a local boy, Tom. The two discover an amazing secret, a world with real-life dinosaurs. Some dinosaurs turn out to be friendly, but others are ferocious and hungry. Jamie. Full name, Jamie Morgan. Age 8 years. Size 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer. Like fossil hunting and learning about dinosaurs. Dislikes being stuck indoors. Tom. Full name, Thomas Clay. Age 8 years. Size 1 kilometer. Top speed 10 kilometers. Likes tracking animals and exploring the wildlife. Dislikes rainy days. Dinosaurus, age 65 to 80 million years. Size less than a German. Top speed so fast, especially when being chased by a T-Rex. Likes stinky cacao fruit and banging its head on tree trunks. Dislikes scary dinosaurs. Bum, 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 bum. Here comes the ferocious dinosaur T-Rex. Full name, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Age 65 to 80 million years. Height 5 fathoms. Weight 10 fathoms. Weight 200 fathoms. Top speed 48 kilometers. Likes fresh flesh and crunching bones. 6. Chewy green leaves and other T-Rex. Here comes the story. Dinosaur Cove. Chapter 1. Dinosaur Cove. Jimmy ran to the cliff edge and looked down over the fence. This has got to be the best place on earth to find dinosaurs. His granddad's eyes twinkled. They're down in the rocks, that's for sure. Why don't you go and have a look? Fossils, here I come, Jamie said. See you later, Granddad. Jamie scrambled down the rocky path from the old lighthouse into the sand, turned away from the sea, and ran straight up the beach, over pebbles and rocks. Just the sluggy black mud nearest on the front cliff. That was what the place to find fossils. Jimmy kept his eyes fixed on the muddy rocks, and every so often he bent down to pick one up. Broke clumpily and broke apart in his fingers, but none of them had a fossil inside. Maybe I should try a bigger rock, thought. He spotted a large blue-gray rock with a crack down in the middle, and dumped his backpack on the mud beside, ducked his safety goggles, and saw some hammer and chisel. He said, work. Angling the chisel to the crack and tapping with his hammer, tapped again. He tapped harder, a stone chip clinched of Jamie's goggles as the rock split cleanly in two. Treasure, Jamie said. Sticking out one half of the rock was a black spiral fossil with shiny gold ridges. Looked at it close. It was about the length of his finger. But when he was trying to pick it out, it was stuck fast in the rock. The fossil finder will tell me what it is, Jamie said. So I finished in his backpack and took out his favorite new gadget, a handheld computer. He flipped the lid and the screen glowed with a picture of a fossilized dinosaur. And the words "Happy Hunting" at the bottom of the screen, a cursor blinked. Jimmy tapped fossil shell. The small keypad looked like a fossil. It typed what it looked like. Quote rogue. Press find and stared at the screen. A picture popped up. It's just like the fossil in the blue-gray rock. Ammonite, Jamie read. A fossil shell from a prehistoric sea creature, common in the rocks from dinosaur times, can be formed fool's gold. Flipped the lid shut. No, Jamie said to Discovery. I don't care, Yukon. Or that you're not real gold. You come from dinosaur times. I'm the first person to ever see you. So you're still treasured to me. Pulled the goggles up and began to sketch his face. Dinosaur Cove Discovery added in the squid-like tentacles the big eye that the creature had when it was alive. Suddenly an unfamiliar voice shouted, "Boo!" A fat-clipped face popped up from behind a rock. Gotcha! You didn't hear me coming, did you? The boy stood up. His t-shirt and safari shorts were plastered in mud. Is that the new fossil finder? Jimmy smiled and patted all the latest software and everything. The boy pushed the trolley behind sticky out ears. I'm Tom Clay, he said. I'm learning to track animals and I'm going to be a wildlife presenter on TV one day. Jamie Morgan, said Jamie. I want to be a scientist. You're new, aren't you? Tom said. Jamie nodded. Just moved here. Look. Found an ammonite. Oh, ammonite, said Tom, shrugging. You'll find loads of those around here. I want to find a dinosaur bone, Jamie told him. Dinosaurs are awesome. Tom looked at Jamie's notebook, laughed. T-Rex rules, put his binoculars to his eyes. Sometimes I pretend I'm tracking dinosaurs. His binoculars flashed in the sunshine as he turned them on Jamie. Tom went, Hey, do you want to know about the secret of Dinosaur Cove? You bet, said Jamie. Then follow me. You have to be quick. Tom set off the beach. Jamie stuffed his fossil hunting gear into his backpack and ran after his new friend. Why are you hurrying? Jamie asked. The path up the cliff gets cut off the high tide, Tom said, so I'll have to get back before them. Tom led Jamie into a narrow path up a cliff and the highest point on the path. Jamie stopped to look at the view. See Granddad fishing down on the beach. That's my house, Jamie told Tom, pointing to the tall whitewashed tower on top of the cliffs on the opposite side of the beach. Tom looked surprised. The captain's lighthouse? The captain is my granddad, Jamie explained. My dad moved us down here and he's turning the bottom of the floor to a dinosaur museum. Cool, said Tom, turned to look at the huge pile of mossy boulders. We got to get up there. Once Jamie had hurled himself into the huge stone at the top, he asked, So where's the big secret? Right behind you. Tom told him. Jamie spun around. Behind a boulder was a hidden from the bay was capping the mouth of a cave. A secret cave? Jamie gasped. Chapter 2. It's a smuggler's cave, Tom told Jamie. It hasn't been used for 100 years. Jamie stepped into the mouth of the dark cave and dug his hand into his backpack, pulling out his torch. This is where the smugglers stroked their booty, Tom said. You can see the marks from their lamps. Jamie flicked on his torch and shone it over the pale rock walls. He could make out a sooty black streaks. Tom took a few more steps into the cove and knocked on the black wall. It's a dead end. Jamie shone his torch over the floor and saw a spider with long, spindly legs. It followed it in the beam as it skittered into the corner, then disappeared into a hole. Can't be a dead end, Jamie said. Look, the hole began at the cave floor and went to the height of his knees. It was at the bottom, very narrow at the top. How did I miss that? Tom said. I've been here loads of times. It's big enough to squeeze through. Jamie knelt and pushed his backpack through the gap. I'm going in. He wrinkled through the gap, shining his torch into the darkness. Wait for me. The colder, the pitch black inside the second chamber. Jamie shone his torch over the rock walls, ceiling, and floor. There was no sound of any shoot or smuggler's lamps. We must be the first people to come in here of the 100 years, Tom muttered. Thousands of years, said Jamie. Millions, said Tom. Hey, what is this, Jamie? His torchlight fell on a scoop of stone next to his feet. Knelt down and placed his finger around a clover-shaped end. Just looked at the dinosaur footprints on the fossil finder. This could be a fossil, Jamie announced, excitement tingling through him. Jamie rummaged his bag and flipped open the fossil finder. The display picture of the dinosaur footprint glowed in the darkness. This is a fossilized dinosaur footprint. Wow, Tom said, looking from the screen to the cave floor. Those are really rare. Jamie stood a second scoop at the edge of the beam of light. Look, there's another and another, 5 altogether. He goes straight into the wall of rock. Jamie couldn't hardly believe it. On his very first day exploring Dinosaur Cove, he had found a fossilized tract of a dinosaur. Jamie carefully placed his left foot into the first print. It's got the same size feet as me. He swung the right foot to the next print. Jamie grinned at Tom, who was following behind him. They're tracking dinosaurs. Left foot. A crack of light appeared on the cave wall. Right foot, the light brightened as the crack widened. Jamie put his left foot forward to make another step as the crack got wider and brighter. Covered his eyes with his hands. He put down. The ground felt spongy. Cautiously, he took his hands away from his eyes. Jamie wasn't in the small dark chamber anymore. He was in a sunny cave with a wall of stone behind him. His footprints were still there, only now they weren't fossils. They were fresh. He took a step forward into a new cave, and Tom appeared behind him, right through the wall of stone. Where are we, Tom asked. I don't know, Jamie said, looking around at this strange new place. Jamie walked out of the cave and the ground swellish beneath his feet. The area was thick with trees and vines, so he couldn't see very far. These trees are weird. Jamie pulled an apricot-like fruit from a tweezer dangling on a nearby branch. It smelled horrible. Yuck, dare you smell it, Tom? Then he grinned. Dare you take a bite? No way, said Jamie, shaking his head. The ground was slammed with stinky orange outer pulp of the fruit that had fallen off the tree. Jamie picked a fan-shaped leaf off the tree. No, I've seen this somewhere before. He dug out the fossil finder and typed fan-shaped leaf. The next moment, pictures of leaves appeared on the screen. Jamie clicked on one that looked like the same as the leaf in his hands. Ginkgo, a living fossil, he wrote down, still found today, but everywhere in dino times, sometimes known as a stink bomb tree. Hurrah, said Bomb. Let's got off this fish air, pushed aside a tangle of creepers. Let's go there. Wait for me, Jamie hurried a seal of ginkgo fruits to a plastic cemetery bag. Then the fossil finder to his backpack and crashed through the underground after Tom. Careful, Tom shouted to him from ahead. The ground sloped steeply as Jamie tried to slow down, but his trainers were cracked with the slippery ankle loop. I can't stop, Jamie yelled as he tumbled towards the edge of a cliff. Chapter 3. Tom burst out at the end of a stick. Grab this, Jamie, he shouted. Jamie threw out his arm and caught hold as one foot went over the edge, wobbled, and then steadied himself. Thanks, that was close. Jamie stepped back from the cliff edge and gazed at the landscape in front of him. A canopy of gray mist hung over a forest of brilliant of emerald green. The humid air troubled with the whirling and buzzing of insects. Where is this? He gasped. Among the trees, Jamie saw a beautiful blue lagoon. Beyond there was expansive water. Is that Dinosaur Cove? No way, said Tom, looking through his binoculars. That's an ocean. Ark, ark. A sudden noise came out of the sky behind them, and Jamie turned to see a sacred teddy bird, the size of an aeroplane, swooping down towards them. Watch out, he yelled at Tom. They ducked as the silver-gray, leathery wings swept right over them. Tom followed the bird with his binoculars. It's flying over the jungle. It's settling on a tree like the lagoon, he told Jamie. Take a look. It's huge. Thrust the binoculars at Jamie. Jamie looked towards the lagoon and his jaw dropped open. Couldn't believe his eyes. What can you see? Tom asked. I can see, Jamie spoke carefully. Two rhinos, but instead of one big horn, they have three, which means, he whispered, they're not rhinos, they're triceratops. What? Tom said. Let me see. Jamie passed back the binoculars. You're right, Tom said. That huge bird is not a bird, it's a pterodactyl. The boys looked at each other in amazement. Dinosaurs! They yelled together, punching the air. But how? Tom stuttered. I don't know, yelled Jamie, but we got to get closer. Over there, said Tom. There's a slope down to the jungle. The boys scrambled and skidded down the hill, and soon their feet sank to the spongy jungle floor. Great conifers towered above them, and huge ferns brushed damply against their legs as they passed. An enormous field of purple and yellow spots, fangs caught Jamie's eye. It spouted a rotten tree stump. It's unreal, Jamie said. But the more of the far side of the fungus, the ferns began to rustle. Go, grunk. Did you hear that? Jamie whispered. What? Tom stood still. The ferns swished gunk. What's that? Jamie hissed. There's something there. Jamie and Tom ducked down behind the tree stump and quickly peered out from behind the fungus. The noise would come from a plump, scaly creature with a flat body head and splotchy green-brown markings, was standing on two strong legs, peering hopefully into a tree. It's a little dinosaur, Jamie whispered as they watched. The little dinosaur grabbed a hold of the conifer with its claws, steadying itself by digging a long tail into the ground. Then it shook the tree hard as the dinosaur's tail twitched as it gurgly started to itself. He's thinking, Tom muttered. He's so cool, Jamie breathed. The dinosaur took a few steps back, lowered his bony head and charged straight at the tree. Thwack! The flat top of the dinosaur's head hit the tree trunk. The conifer shook. He's strong, said Tom. Do you think he's dangerous? Jamie asked. I looked him up, Tom said. Tom pulled a fossil finder out from Jamie's backpack and tapped it. Keywords. Flat skull. Head built. Monosaurus. Tom reached from the screen. A herbivore. That means a plant eater, added Jamie. Uses its hard skull to defend itself against predators. As Tom slipped the fossil finder back into Jamie's bag, the little dinosaur took another run and rammed the tree again. Thinks the tree is a predator. Tom stood up laughing. At the sound of Tom's laughter, the little dinosaur crooked his head to one side, turned and blinked mournfully at Tom. "You've hurt his feelings," Jamie said, standing up beside Tom. "Sorry, Juana," Tom told the little dinosaurs. The dinosaurs blinked at Tom and then at Jamie, took 3 big steps away from the tree and shifted its weight from foot to foot. "He's reeving up," said Jamie. "Go, Juana, go," the boys shouted. The dinosaur put its head down and hurried towards the tree. Whack! The tree wobbled. Plunk! A single pine cone dropped to the ground. The dinosaur stuffed to its mouth and looked happily at the boys. He wagged his tail and scurried off its hind legs. "Let's track it," said Tom. "Just a minute." Jamie curved a W into the tree stump with his fossil finder so he can remember where he met Juana. "Now which way did he go?" asked Jamie. They clambered over the tree. Tom looked around the trampled plants, disturbed the fence as he walks on them. Tom said, "Can follow its trail." The little dinosaur's trail led to a small clearing, and the boys found him standing on his hind legs, munching a leaf. He turned towards them and lowered his flat bony head. "Uh-oh," said Tom. "My charges." "It's okay, Juana. We're not predators." Jamie put his backpack down and took his bag of stinky ginkgo fruit, rolled one towards the Juanasaurus. The dinosaur sniffed the fruit and suspiciously, "Can't possibly wait to eat that," said Tom, holding his nose. Juana looked down. He snapped at Tom and pinned the fruit between his claws and sank his teeth to it, made a gunking noise as the sticky ginkgo juice dribbled down his chin. "Yum yum," Jamie grimaced as the dinosaur's long tongue slurped up every disgusting drop. Juana looked at Jamie. Then it looked at Jamie's backpack and wagged its tail. Suddenly, the little dinosaur froze. The jungle went still. If the insects stopped buzzing, the ground trembled beneath their feet. "Something is coming," whispered Jimmy. "Something big." Chapter 4. Yeah. The ground shook. Juana dashed beneath the leafy tree. Thump! The strongest terror shook the ground. Juana picked from behind a branch and popped its head up and down. In the distance, wood was snapping and cracking. The tremors were getting stronger. "Whatever it is, it's coming our way," Jamie said. "Fast," added Tom. The boys looked at each other. "We've got to get out of here," Jamie yelled. "Which way?" Suddenly Jamie's bag was yanked off his back. He spun around and saw Juana charging off into the jungle, a chin in his mouth. "Juana!" Jamie sprinted after Tom close behind. The little dinosaur skidded to a halt by a shallow stream, turned and looked Jamie in the eyes, then jerked his head towards the street and plugged in. The ground shook again. "Juana's leading us to safety," Jamie shouted, jumping into the stream after him. "Clever," Tom panted. "The water will mask our scent." Juana lit up the stream to where it tickled through a jumble of huge round rocks. Glanced back, leaped out of the water. Jamie and Tom followed, stumbling and splashing. They scrambled into the rocks and stood dribbling. "Where's he gone?" Jamie said. "Roar!" Something crashed through the trees behind him. Jamie whirled around and lost his footing on the wet stone. Tom threw out his hands, but when Jamie grabbed it, both boys were toppled and slid back between 2 rocks. Jamie landed with a thud and found himself staring through a reptilian face. "Grunk." Juana greeted Jamie and Tom with a slobbily licks, and Jamie was happy to see his backpack again. "Are we safe?" Jamie whispered. "Has that thing chasing us gone?" The voice listened. "I think so," Tom breathed. "Todd." The rocks shook. "It's here," Tom whispered. Jamie peered up through the gap above his head. Instead of the trees of the jungle, saw a dark, slimy hole. Suddenly, a blast of slime flew from the hole and splattered on Jamie's face. Oh, Jamie wiped his face. Think that's its nose. The creature lifted its head and roared. Roar! The sound rumbled around the rocks. Jamie could see its jaws slithering. A rotting flesh dangled from its fangs. Bad breath, Jamie gagged. Worse than stinking ginkgo fruit. What? It doesn't look friendly, Tom said. What was it? An enormous yellow eye, rimmed with bright red scales, studied Jamie through the gap in the rocks. I don't need the fussy little finder, it stammered. It's a T-Rex. Chapter 5. The eye disappeared. We're in trouble, Jamie breathed. Serious trouble, Tom said. Suddenly, a long claw stabbed down into the crevice. Watch out, Jamie yelled. He pulled Tom back and thrust his bag out as a shield. Mona and Tom shrank back behind it. The claw scratched and scrambled around the gap in the rocks. You can't get us, Tom whispered. Its arms are too short. Maybe we can go away now, Jamie said. But the huge unblinking eye of the T-Rex reappeared. Mona trembled. If we had a stick, Tom muttered, I'll poke it in the eye. There must be something we can use. Jamie gulped his backpack. Let's see how it sticks. Jamie pulled his torch and aimed it at the T-Rex's eye. Flicked it on. The eye vanished. Cautiously, Jamie poked his head out of the surface. The T-Rex was stomping away into the jungle. Phew, Jamie said. I think we're safe. The boys gave each other a high five. Now let's get out of here, Tom said, before it's come back. Boys and the little dinosaur climbed out at the surface. Then Warner took the lead again, heading further downstream. Did you see that thing's teeth? Jamie muttered as they splashed after the new dinosaur friend. The T-Rex could rip us into shreds and eat us alive, bit by bit, Tom shuddered. Randomly, the stream flew into water and the trees on the either side began to thin out. Soon, the boys had come to the edge of the blue lagoon they had seen earlier from Ginkgo Hill. Mona stopped near a large rock and began to munch on a leafy bush. Come a long way from the cave, Tom said, and there's a T-Rex out to get us. How will we ever get back home? I don't know. Jamie gazed over the sparkling blue water. Behind them, something started squawking. The boys whirled around. The squawks were coming from the yellow beaks of bat-like reptiles in the palm of the tree. Creatures looked like badly folded brown umbrellas, gripping the palm fronds with their scaly feet and clawed fingers on their wings. Now it must be another type of pterodactyl, Tom decided. Just then, the pterodactyl launched themselves into the air, squawking and flapping their wings. What's up with them? Tom asked. The bird-like creatures flew away. The lagoon felt silent. The only sound was the water gently lapping the shore, and the ground began to shake. Uh-oh, Jamie and Tom said together. T-Rex! Chapter 6. The boys turned to see the T-Rex spring out of the jungle, sending up a spray of sand. Its green scales rippled in the sunshine as it scanned the beach. Then it saw them. Rah! The T-Rex lowered its head. The red crest over the eyes flashed as it swam towards them. The T-Rex food, moaned Tom. Then suddenly, there was the sound of breaking branches behind them. The T-Rex's head snapped up and stared at the edge of the jungle. Turning around slowly. Jamie saw a second T-Rex crashed out of the trees into the bush. "Oh no," said Tom. It was as big as the first, but darker with black stripes, was advancing on them. "Watch out!" Jamie rolled out of the way of a huge foot as the first T-Rex stomped to meet the other T-Rex. Tom ducked as its tail swept over his head. The boys watched as the first T-Rex hurled itself at the newcomer. "They're not after us," he breathed. "Maybe they're fighting over territory." Tom guessed. The first T-Rex sent its jaws into the other's throat. Dog T-Rex screeched, and with it and thrashed its tail, then broke free, sprang into the first T-Rex's back, hung on, biting its neck. "Let's get out of here. Run!" Jamie dragged Tom towards the tree. Juana bounced after them. Gradually, the snarls of the world's T-Rex battle faded into the jungle sounds. "We're lost, aren't we?" Tom sat down on the ground, put his head on his hands. "How are we going to get back?" Gronk, gronk, gronk. Juana darted off into the trees. "Maybe you could follow Juana," Jamie said. "It's our best chance." For a moment, they were back in the stream. Is this the same stream before? Jamie wondered. Next, Juana led them the jumble of rounded rocks. There where we hid from the T-Rex. Tom grinned. They passed the purple and yellow spotted fungus, and Jamie bent down to saw the W on the tree stump. "Juana tree!" He grinned. Then they climbed the slope through the ginkgo trees. Finally, they were standing in the mouth of the cave. "That's how we got here." Jamie pointed to the fresh dinosaur footprint by the solid rock wall. Juana stood next to it and wagged his tail. He stepped away, leaving two more identical footprints, but this time facing the rock. "They are your footprints," Jamie gasped. Juana blinked at him, turned and scurried to a pile of leaves and twigs in the corner of the cave. "That's Juana's nest." Jamie took out the last ginkgo fruit from his backpack. "This is for you, Juana," he said, putting it on the ground. "Thank you for helping us." Juana snapped poked out of the nest. Nails the fruits back to Jamie. "I think he wants you to have it," Tom said. "Okay, Juana," said Jamie, picking the butt. "I'll put it in Dad's museum," he told Tom, chewing his nose and smiling. Tom was gazing at the rock with a puzzled expression on his face. "We stepped forward to go back in time, so maybe you have to step backwards to go forward in time." "Hope it works." Yes, Jamie nodded. "I hope it works." Tom turns to his back to the rock face. Then he placed his right foot in Juana's print, then stepped back with his left. With a flash of light, and Jamie found himself alone with Juana. "It worked," Jamie said to Juana. "That means we can come back and see you again." He patted the little dinosaur on the snout. Juana licked Jamie's hand, curled up his nest. "Goodbye, Juana." Jamie held the ginkgo fruit in one hand and his torch in the other. As he stepped back through the blaze of light, he felt the ground, the snow beneath his feet. He was back in the cave with Tom. Jamie felt the ginkgo fruit in his hand soften. The torch beam watched the swivel and crumple to dust. "Can't bring anything back," he told Tom, letting the dust trickle between his fingers. "It's just as well," Tom said. "That thing stank." The boys squeezed through the hole in the rock, scrambled down the boulders, and hurried down the cliff path onto the beach. Jamie's granddad was packing up his fishing gear. He smiled at the boys as he reeled in his fishing rod. "Did you find any dinosaurs?" he asked them. Jamie winked at Tom. "Find a brilliant king." "Did it with Tom." "Awesome," agreed Tom. "Let's explore it some more tomorrow." "Great idea," said Jamie, hoisting up his backpack and turned to Granddad. "Is that okay with you and Dad? Just as long as we're not getting into scrapes." Granddad's eyes twinkled as he slugged slung his fishing rod over his shoulder, picked up the bucket of fish. "See you tomorrow, Tom." "Sure thing, Tom," Jamie said to his new friend. "Sure thing," Tom said as he waved goodbye. Jamie and Granddad walked back to the path to the old lighthouse. Granddad said, "Do you think you like the living room here then?" "Definitely," said Jamie with a grin. "I can't wait to explore more of the Dinosaur Cove." Glossary: Ammonite, an extinct animal with octopus-like legs and often a spiral-shaped shell that lived in the ocean. Comfort, cone-bearing trees such as pines of Kelders. Fossil, the remains of imprints of plants or animals found in rocks. They help scientists unravel the mysteries of prehistoric times. Fossil Finder, a handheld computer filled with dinosaur facts. Ginkgo, a tree native to China called a living fossil because fossils of it have been found dating back millions of years, that they're still around today. Also known as the stink bomb tree because of its smelly apple-like fruit. Herbivore, an animal that only eats plants. A vegetarian. Lagoon, a body of water like a lake and separated from a larger body of water, like an ocean, by a barrier of coral or sand. Pterodactyl, a flying prehistoric reptile which could be as small as a bird or large as an airplane. Triceratops, a three-horned plant-eating dinosaur which looked like a rhinoceros. Tyrannosaurus rex, a meat-eating dinosaur with a huge tail, strong legs, but two tiny arms. T-Rex was one of the biggest and scariest dinosaurs. Dinosaurus, a dinosaur that only ate plants and used its hard, flat skull to defend itself, named after the place it was discovered, Wanao in China. Look out! Here I come!